The Village of Hainesville's regular board meeting will now come to order at 7:03 p.m. on Tuesday, December 13th, 2011. If everyone will please rise and join me, I'll lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Linda Soto. Trustees Darowski.
Here.
Priest.
Here.
Uberstein. Here. Barrett is absent. Daly.
Here.
And Washington.
Here.
Okay, we are in quorum. Trustee Barrett is out of town, up in St. Paul, I believe, due to work obligations. If I could have a motion for approval of tonight's agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Darowski.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Uberstein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
At this time, we'll take public comments. Anyone wanting to address the board should have filled out a form and turned it into the clerk. I have one taker, and I'm going to ask, since we're having microphone difficulties, we're going to utilize this microphone right here. Ted Mueller, if you step forward and state your name again and address for the record.
Which mic?
This mic right here on the table.
Ted Miller, 318 East Catherine Drive, Hainesville. I have a question. Is the village unable to or reluctant to enforce our garbage can ordinance? These are starting to spring up in front of garages now. Around the corner from two trustees, there's a guy that's had his garbage cans out for months and months and months. I've asked you about this before. I'm going to bring it out in the open now.
Yeah, and he had a concrete mixer out there as well,
It's
which
not
he has
there
been
now.
moved. Yeah, because he's been tagged and he's also been ticketed on the garbage cans. Because he was tagged for the concrete mixer and he did not move the garbage cans as requested, and it's my understanding that he was recently ticketed.
Now, what happens when he gets a ticket? Does he actually get a court date, as we did in the past, or just?
He can pay an ordinance violation and comply, or he can request a court date.
Okay. So
And I don't know what the outcome, I don't know if he's called the PD or if there's been any conversation yet. We also have one other similar offender on Fawn.
Yeah. Well, they're springing up throughout the village.
On and off. Last few weeks,
Yeah.
we've had quite a few enforcements, not on just garbage cans, but on placements of firewood, places of debris.
Yes. Oh, okay, but they are being cited or warned.
Well, they're being warned. We do give people warning, and depending on the situation, we may give them a second chance, and quite frankly, sometimes a third chance.
Okay.
But if not, then we will move to a ticket.
Because I know one time when I was mayor, we had quite a bunch of them, and we had to bring it after.
I'm aware of that situation.
Okay, thanks.
Any other comments from the board at this time? Okay, we will move on to our omnibus vote agenda. If I may have a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Darowski.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Uberstein. Aye. Daly.
Aye.
And Washington.
Aye.
Okay, now we'll move on to reports and communications from our officers. We'll start with our village engineer, Greg Rubin.
Thank you, Mayor. On the omnibus agenda, one of the items was the approval of Dean's final pay request for the crack filling project. Their original quantity was actually, we actually used slightly less than what was actually in their bid, and wound up being about $346 less than their actual bid quantity. So last year I know that was a little bit of an issue we went over, but this year we were right on the money with the project. Hainesville Department of Water Main Extension, Terry Brown scheduled a final inspection with the IEPA for this Friday. As far as the loan program for the water main extension at Route 120, we spoke with Berger Excavating, and they agreed to extend their bid, hold their bid for an additional 60 days. And the EPA has also contacted us, and we're looking to get that loan documents shortly. Hainesville Road Bike Path. There was some discussion last meeting, and we looked into it. There actually is no guardrail proposed between the curb and the bike path, according to their field engineer. That the way the bike path was constructed meets their setback standards. And also, the intersection of Route 120 and Hainesville Road, they had a little bit more gravel out there, and basically increased the shoulder out there to eliminate a little bit of that drainage problem. Based on the elevations, it looks like it's never going to be 100% correct. Basically, the pavement, edge of pavement is actually slightly below the curb elevation out there. When I spoke with the LCDOT about it, they said that that particular, fixing that drainage problem was outside the scope of the bike path issue. So that's where we stand on that.
Is it their responsibility outside of the bike path? Is it their intersection?
Yes.
Okay.
So none of that is 120, like when the 120 does the resurfacing, there's nothing that could be done there that would help that?
They could build up the pavement another 2 or 3 inches to get the water flow around.
Okay. Because that work is scheduled. You can add that to your list, finance list.
Okay.
Okay, anything else, Greg?
That's all.
That's enough. We'll move on to our village attorney, Jim Ryan.
Thank you. This month we met with the CENTCOM Joint Emergency Telephone System Board. There's an item under business tonight, and we'll talk about an update on the status of those discussions, and also drafted revisions to the alternative energy ordinance that is listed under number 9 in business, and we'll be discussing that a little bit later as well.
Okay, thank you. Jeff Gately, our Public Works Superintendent, is at a high school concert that his daughter is in tonight. There's a lot of holiday activities going on this time of year. He did give me several items to report on. If you noticed, all the flags have been installed on all the fire hydrants throughout the entire village. So we're set with that. We've been doing many other winter preparedness projects. And all the trucks have been serviced, plows have been put on, salt is in supply. Jeff installed our new tank and sprayer for the geothermal liquid treatment that we'll be doing some experimentation with. We're going to start slow, see how well it works and how many man-hours it cuts and how effective it is. And then from that study, we'll decide if we want to make a bigger investment in a storage tank for next year. So I'm also really thrilled that through Jeff continuing to research and work with several sources for the material, the liquid that we use, we actually have been able to find a source just down the road, 120 in Lakemore, and we're only going to end up paying about $1.15 a gallon, which is quite a price from where we were thrilled to be talking about getting it at $6 to $8 down to $1.15 a gallon. So, and it's still a very good quality product. So for this year, he'll be driving out there and getting it loaded. The tank is loaded, it's ready to go. He tested the sprayer with water just to make sure that the nozzles were set and the disbursement was working well. Other project that was just completed in the Public Works facility, there was an area, a loft if you will, storage area that for OSHA requirements required a railing. So Jeff has built that and that is completed. So we are OSHA compliant on that area. We're also very grateful to Jeff for getting all the holiday decorations and holiday lights up as well.
That's a nice touch right across the road on our new ring. The garland and ribbons look nice.
Good. I like it. We're excited about having the bike path done.
Well, personally, Brandy didn't even realize that the bike path was done until all of a sudden the decorations went up. She's like, oh, that looks nice. And it's been done for about a week now.
Well, good. It's kind of like a gift wrap. Here it is. Okay, we'll move on to the building official, Russ Crayley.
Everybody's got a monthly report. Just Just a little note up there at the bottom, although the last item that was on our violation list was completed, so everything's done. For the last 2 pages I attached, the one's talking about the new EPA law, where you cannot be a contractor and work on homes pre-1978 unless you are licensed by the state because of the EPA and all the regulations and the asbestos. That's a new act that just was into effect. And then the second page is penalties for illegal construction contract in Illinois. My building officials groups been working on this for about 5 years. We finally got it passed. For these people that come in and charge people and take money and do all these deceptive fraud and illegal practices here. Now we have prison sentences, 2-year prison sentences. We have fines. We've got some teams behind the law for the first time.
Good.
Hopefully this will deter anybody, but I kind of doubt it. But at least we have something to put a few people away from doing this illegal stuff, especially if they go after senior citizens and take their money and then run away. So that's all.
Okay, thank you. Our EMA coordinator, Mike Benko, is at his employer's holiday party this evening, but we got a lot of good feedback from the last newsletter for the article that Mike put in, the frigid facts and the wind chill temperature chart. A lot of residents found that useful information, especially with the winter we endured last year, and they're predicting a pretty cold one this year. And in the upcoming newsletter that will be coming out with this utility bill, Mike has submitted another, I think, very good, helpful article for the winter preparedness. So I ask you to look forward to reading that. And our treasurer is not present because I think all her work is under business, and I think Jerry Daly can add to that and link it to those line items. And we'll move on to our village clerk, Kathy Metzler.
Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know that January 10th, we are having a public hearing at 6:45 for the zoning change for the wind energy ordinance, which a draft was put in the packet for tonight to review, and then we'll do a public hearing and put it on the agenda for the first meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to the mayor's report. As Jerry Daly pointed out, our bike path is finally completed. We're excited about it. The fence looks nice. We've gotten a lot of excited residents commenting on it. Of course, we'll keep an eye on it and see what the spring brings as far as water or make sure all the sods survived, etc. I have some minor concerns there, but Lake County DOT's well aware of it, and I think they'll be very supportive with correcting anything in that avenue. We had hoped originally that it would be done so maybe we could have time to maybe sneak in a ribbon cutting or some type of ceremony. It was so cold and dreary by the time it was completed, we didn't want to do that. But we are kicking around, maybe in the late spring, we can do some type of ceremony and maybe tie it to another safety event. So if you have any thoughts or ideas, put your suggestions in through email, give us a call, let us know what you think. We're just glad it's done. I also again want to thank the staff and all the officials who helped with decorating the village hall and the community for our recent holiday events. This past Sunday we had Shop with the Cop here in the morning. There was originally 39 kids signed up. We have one family didn't show up, a few kids that missed out for whatever reason. But it was very well run, very successful morning. Besides $100 for each child at Target, each family was given all the fixings for turkey holiday dinner, and that was donated by Piggly Wiggly. So from that we moved on to our holiday mixer that was from 2 to 6. We had the high schools, we had 4 different groups, choirs, we had the jazz ensemble and clarinet choir. So very enjoyable, and of course the Santa room was a big hit as always. Also, Friday, December 9th, the village officials and I had received a very nice invitation. One of our new businesses in town, Meridian Home Health Care,